TLMite Profibus is very good weight transmitter. Also, it's having very good features and specifications, which already explained in my previous video. Now I am going to narrate the configuration and settings. When we want to go inside the configuration and settings, I can explain about the keys, how it was functioning in programming mode and operational mode. All only we have totally 5 keys: test keys, escape key, tar key, print key, and menu key. These all keys are doing two functions. One is when we are configuring the menu, it's acting different functions. When it is in operational mode, it is acting like a direct zeroing, tearing, printing kind of functions. So when you press this button single time and pressing menu button, the display will go to 0. For example, now I am placing this small screwdriver object on the system. Okay, so you will have some weight in the display. If you want to do zeroing, press 0 and enter. The display will go to 0. So these keys act as a zeroing. Okay, now I am going to remove only one key, and this value I am going to tear it. So when I press tear, the display goes to net mode. So the second key is for tearing the function, and the third key is used for print. In case if you are configuring this transmitter for printing option, and you will get the output on RS485 when you give the print command. And as I said already, the test button is to directly call the millivolts outputs, and you can escape it. So this is the uh, this is the functions, keys functions during the weighing mode. Okay, inside the programming mode, this key used for escape, this key used to scroll the digits right to left, this key used for the digit incremental, and this key is used for enter and acknowledgement. So these 4 keys functioning in that way to configure the electronics. Now we will go inside the configuration. For going inside the configuration, there are 2 methods we have to do, like press and hold main menu and escape. The display comes to calibration. So this is called calibration. Calib means calibration. Okay, so if you want to go inside to see calibration parameter, so you have to press menu once. So you will have TSTE0, that means full scale theoretical value. This is actually the total capacity of the load cell. For example, your system consists with only one load cell, means that load cell capacity can be set here. Or in case your system consists with 3 load cells, then the 3 load cells cumulative value to be entered here. For example, you used 100 kg load cells 3 number, then here you have to set 300 kg. For example, for entering that value, I will just tell you, press menu once, the display reads 40. Previously it was 40 is there because this load cell capacity is 40 kg, so it was 40. For example, you want to change 40 to 300 kg. I will explain the method. Use this tab button. So you will have editing option to scroll right to left. This is for incremental, like print button for incremental. Make it 0 and shift the digit and increase the digit. Bring it 300. After entering this value, you have to confirm by using this menu button. Now the value was set and it comes to sensitivity. Sensitivity is what? Sensitivity of the sensor, that means load cell. Generally load cells are having 2 millivolts per volt. It is most of the load cell case comes under 2 millivolt per volt load cell. So almost of the electronics will be set at 2.00000 defaultly. So you can leave it as it is, since the rated output maximum using people using is 2 millivolt only. In case some special applications are having 1 millivolt per volt or 3 millivolt per volt, then you can change it. Even without changing also you can do calibration, or you can do the settings of capacity, everything. But still, if you want to restrict your indicator particularly for that particular load cells, you can set this as per the sensor spec. But it is not really mandatory to set it, that also I can tell you. Now this is called display divisions. Display divisions. Press menu to go inside and see what is available. It is 0.05 is there defaultly based on the capacity setted previously. The capacity what we setted is 300 kg. So the readability is automatically calculated as per the formula, and it was suggesting to keep 0.05. Still, some of customers wants to read the value in 10 grams, then you can reduce it. 0.01 also you can make it by doing this tab button presses makes decrease, and print button presses make increases. Okay, but it is not advisable to reduce, since the load cell capacity is based on some calculation, legal methodology calculation. Automatically electronics is suggesting to set the display divisions, so you should not normally reduce it. But if you reduce, you can see some weight values. If you got a more fluctuations on the display, then you keep what indicator is suggested to keep the resolution. Okay, press menu again. Now the display comes to NASH. It is actually mass, mass. So here you generally keep 0 only, because if you keep 0, you will have a feasibility to check the weight value up to 0 to 300 kg. Or else what will happen, if you set something here 100 or something, only you can able to do weighment of 100 kg, not more than that. So that mass parameter is to restrict the values. Okay, now this is 0. This parameter what it does is, if you want to keep some materials on the platform, you want to make it 0 calibration, then your indicator should be in this menu. That time you have to press menu, so that the display will read the weight of these objects here. And when you press menu again, it will go to 0, you can see that. And once again when you are pressing menu, you are confirming and ensuring that 0 calibration is over. And then you can press escape button to come out from calibration menu, says only you have done 0 calibration. But if you want to do span, then you have to cross this input parameter. This input parameter is for what? I will explain to you after the calibration. For example, for press menu again, the display reads 0.00. Generally input 0 will be 0.0 only defaultly. This here you can set some numbers for activating some tare weight, default tare weight, but still we are not using that feature. That feature I will explain in detail in after some time. Now you are reading weight. When it was weight, press menu, the display is appearing with 0.0. Okay, now you place some standard weights on the platform or some objects. Okay, now it was reading 0.49, okay, grams. You assume this is having 600 gram or something. Okay, you assume it is 600 gram, so 490 gram I will convert into 600 gram, so that it's just an example, you know. So I am just calibrating, I am teaching to the electronics to 600 gram, giving enter. Okay, now it was calibrated it and accepting. That means I can saved the data inside the menu. Now I'm scrolling, and yeah, I can able to see the unit. See, now the calibration part also is completed here. Okay, parallelly still I'm not displaying back that 600 gram. I'm explaining the entire parameters to you. Okay, this is a unit. If you want to change this unit kg to gram or to lbs or other units, you can press menu. Okay, so see now, yeah, high log. When it is high log, it is for kg payment. Okay, when it is gram, this is gram. Okay, this is tons, this is lbe, this is for newton, this is for liter, this is for bar, like atom, pieces, like a lot of options are available here. So defaultly all the electronics we used for kg measurement. Okay, so I'm keeping it in high log. Okay, then this is coefficient. Why this coefficient? What is its functions? In case if you change the unit, you have to set this some coefficient. Okay, now when it is in kg, you no need to set the coefficient value, so it will be defaultly 1. But if you are changing it to some other like bar or newton, so here you have to set the factor. Based on this factor, you will have the conversions, weight value conversions. And another thing is, this parameter is for select channel. See, this TLM8 having 8 channels. Okay, so 8 individual load cells can be connected here, and you can able to monitor the individual load cell weights here. So you can select only one channel, means all will act as a only one channel. If you select different channel or like 8 channels, so you can keep auto. See, equal, when you keep equal, it will be equal in all the in terminals. When you give OK, so it will ask equally entered or not, equally low, equally high. Okay, so the load will act based on these settings. Okay, now the calibration function is over. When I'm coming out, you can able to see that 600 grams which we are given during calibration. And second set of parameter we are going to see, that is like ADC settings. I am scrolling it to next parameter, which is filter. Filtering the display value. The display should read stable value, right? For that, the electronics is decided to keep 5 is default one for this particular model. In case if you reduce this filter, you will have a lot of fluctuations on the display. So either you should maintain 4 or 5 for your process. you should not exceed these settings, so that you can ensure the system is stable. This is anti-peak weight value is on, so that whenever the anti-peak weight value sudden variation of the system, it will arrest that. So it is basically filter function. Then one more function is there after filter, which is called parameter 0. The parameter is 0 for zeroing the value. For 0, for making this transmitter 0, sum of settings comes under this parameter. So I will explain in detail. When we press OK, you can see 0 set. So what, how much we can able to do 0 by pressing the 0 button, that we are defining in this parameter called 0 set. When I press menu, what is happening is 3.00 was there. That means up to 3 kg you can do zeroing by using the front keys. And if you can't do the zero more than 3 kg, okay, so that restrictions is given in this parameter. This can be variable as you require. And next parameter is auto zero. Auto zero is for what? It is automatically make enabling zeroing function without pressing the keys or any other input. That is called auto zero. When you give OK command on this particular parameter, default will be is disabling auto zero, because most of the case the auto zero will not be preferred by the customer, but some of application they need it. So if they set here is like 100 gram is auto zero, so whenever the display is 100, it will try to do zeroing. That attempt, automatic zero attempt will happen in the application itself based on the settings, but recommended is 0.0 and disabling that one. Even we are you are declaring that what is the bandwidth for auto zero, you are setting in 0 set. And how much auto zero should consider, that also you are setting as some 100 gram or something. Then there is a track. These electronics will do zero, auto zero, based on some input or some tracking. So we are setting here the tracking is none, default is none. That means it will not track auto zero, it will not do auto zero. But if you change it to 1, so it will track for every one readability. For example, one readability in this electronics is 0.01 we kept. So every one division it will track, and it will try to execute zero command, so that when there is a 100 gram on the display, immediately it will not do zero, it will do tracking of every one readability. That means when it was 100 gram, it will reduce 10 gram, like 0.09, 0.08, 0.07, like that it will reduce the weight value, and finally it will stop at once it's 0. Okay, in case if you want to speed up the auto zeroing function, you can keep track should be 2 or 3, 4, 5. The maximum count is 5. So up to 5 readability only possible to set for auto zero. Okay, this is really important to know. Everyone who is using the weighing electronics, based on the application, these features and settings will help them for it. Okay, and next parameter is called analog. Okay, in analog parameter, uh, just I will go inside the analog parameter. So this displaying type, first you have to select the type of analog. I am giving OK command. So the type was displaying is 4 to 20 milliampere. I want to see what are the analog outputs are available in this electronics. One is 0 to 20, 4 to 20, and output also I said already. I said it was having 0 to 10 millivolt, sorry, 0 to 5 volt. So there are four type of analog output is available: 4 to 20, 0 to 20, and 0 to 5 and 0 to 10 volt. So any one you can select it and press enter. Okay, and the next thing in analog is mode of analog output. For which mode you need 4 to 20? It is for gross mode or it is for net mode. Okay, so generally the people use to 4 to 20 for gross mode. Okay, and the next parameter is called analog 0. So when you need you are setting the base. That means when it was 0 kg you will get 4 or you will get 0 milliampere based on your type of selection, analog output selection. Most of the cases generally the people set 0 kg equal to 4 milliampere, and when it was more than that, then they will expect the variation based on that 4 to 20. In case if they want to make 100 kg, sorry, like we set a 300 kg is the full scale, like 100 kg equal to 4 milliampere and 300 kg equal to 20 milliampere. In that case, here you have to set 100. Hope you understood what for that analog 0. Now this is analog full scale. Generally analog full scale will be setted defaultly from the full scale value what you are setting on the calibration. Here if you want to reduce it you can reduce it, but you can't increase it. So what is the theoretical value you are setting in the display, you can set less than that as a analog full scale. Okay, and the third point is the correction of 0. For example, analog output which can generate 4 milliampere. For example, I am making enter. Here you can see it was 3.993. That means when this display reads 3.993, you will have 4 on the output, or sometimes it may be 3.993 only, or sometimes it may be 3.83 on the output side. So based on the PLC you can tune it, so you no need to scale it every time in you every time from PLC side. You can increase and decrease this value using these three buttons, and mm, and fine tune the analog output, that is like base output. Okay, see, since you selected 4 to 20, here the default it was 3 milliamp, sorry, 3.99 milliampere was displaying. In case if you selected voltage output, here it will display 0.00 only. When you go for the correction full scale, it was selected 20 milliampere in the type, so it was displaying 20.83. Okay, so if you selected voltage output, then obviously it will be 10 volt or 5 volt only. So those things will happen based on your analog output selection. Okay, now when I'm setting 20.839 only, I'm getting the 20 milliampere output from the terminal. So that's why it was tuned according to the multimeters. Okay, so only these are the parameters relevant to analog output settings. Now I am coming out from the menu. See, I am back to analog. Okay, so we have completed calibration parameters and ADC parameters and analog output parameters. Now this is comes to Profibus DP settings. Okay, when Profibus DP selection, when you press OK, it was displaying address. To set address, you can set address here. Okay, Profibus address, and then no, nothing else, only address you have to set for Profibus. So the communication of Profibus is so simple. That means you have to install GST file in PLC side and DCS side in their module and server, and you have to set only address and you have to do the mapping so that the electronics automatically transfer all the read and write values to the PLC. So from the PLC, what the values can be mandatory in their profile and the configuration can be read out from there. Okay, and another parameter is called serial. Serial means what? It is like RS485 is there in this module, so it was displaying serial. Once I give OK, it was displaying RS485. You can see only RS485 is available on the settings. In that RS485 you have multiple options like mode bus and ASCII transmission and continuous transmission and remote IP protocol and HDR protocol. Like there are multiple things also. During function keys explanation I told that print. So you can configure print here so that when you give the print command from the keys, you will have a output to the RS485. Okay, so that header file and the gross mode selections, everything can be configurable. After configuration, the baud rate speeds, I think the people who knows inside into the communication, they knows about the settings of RS 485 like baud rate, also address, and the delay, communication delay, and the parity is none, and stop bit is 1. These all settings is mandatory to keep enable this RS 485 settings. So then press escape to come out and display comes to serial mode. When you press the sprint again, so you can see LCD, sorry, that LCD is for continuous mode. So anyway, LCD only we are using it, so you don't change anything. And after that we have serial LCD settings and output input settings. Input and output settings is major features, and most of the people used it. Like when you press OK, now the output 1 configuration was displaying. Output 1, how it should react, normally open or normally close, that can be assigned here. This is open actually. If you want to change it to normally closed, you can press print button, it's become a close. So this can be set based on your requirement, since you are having connectivity only for the common out. So NCNO they are given in the programming side. Okay, so keeping it open is always better, and it is for the set 1 is for like output 1. Okay, set 1 I am assigning for gross weight or net weight. That again it's having two mode, gross weight or net weight. So for which mode it should reflect that relay output, that you can set it. Okay, then positive negative, that means if you are setting the set point was 100, if it is a minus 100 above, it will be on. If it is plus 100 above, it will be on. That's the meaning of positive negative. This can be changed only the electronic should respond to positive, means you can set positive. Only it should respond for the negative side, you can set negative side. If you want to set a positive negative, you can set positive negative. So these flexibility is there for the relay outputs. Okay, basically we will set positive and negative only, okay, defaultly. And the next parameter is off. That off is meant for no relay on and off. Physically you want to make relay off, you can make it off. If you want to relay make it on, you can press trigger the print button and you can make it on. Okay, and now it comes to output 2. Like this, we have totally 5 outputs. For example, 2 outputs you can configure for normally open, 2 outputs you can configure for normally close, and 1 output you can configure for positive, negative. Like, you can customize all these 5 according to your requirements. Now I am coming into input side, input configuration side. When it was input 1, press menu again, the display reads 0. If you want to give the trigger the input 1, the display will get 0 automatically. So either you can use input 1 for 0 or peak option. Peak means when the digital input is high, what is the peak weight value is read by the ADC, it will be locked on the display. Okay, and we have another PLC, like we have another inputs is called PLC, so that from the PLC you can give the input to trigger and start the start the external function. And continuous, when the input is continuous, you will have the communication output continuously output. Okay, then similarly coefficient, when you give the digital input is high, that time this coefficient value will trigger to the display or the output. Okay, now this is input 2. Like, totally I have explained to you about 4 features: remote zeroing, remote tearing, peak value, and external PLC, and input for coefficient trigger. So these are the inputs can be configured for, these are the settings. Okay, now next thing is and routing. This is like a diagonals for the load cells, external routing. So this you keep default. And another thing is test. If you want to test, select test, give enter, you can check status of the electronics. Okay, that is first thing is all the load cells are healthy, or all the load cell are connected or not, that you can able to see. Presently one load cell is connected, so one is displaying the value, remaining all is displaying as off. Okay, now, and second is input. When 3 inputs are available in this electronics, so 0 0 0 was there, but when you are triggering the input, what will happen, you will get a 1 on the display. How you will trigger? For example, 24 volt has to be looped, 24 volt has to be looped to the electronics, so that you will get 1. So I will just trigger the output. 1 minute. Now the digital input 1, I am going to give 24 volt power supply, so you can see the display is 1. That means the digital input 1 is high. Now we are testing that the electronics is responding, and now I am going to trigger digital input 2. Okay, see, now the digital input 2 is getting high. And similarly, now I am going to check digital input 3. So this 3 input is happen. So this is the test method is given in the electronics to ensure this electronics is functioning all right. Similarly, when I am coming to the output part, for output also I can test it like that. See, all outputs are disabled now, so 0000 was there. When I am creating this print button into 1, you can listen a small sound which is trigger the relay. If you are connecting the field equipments to this connector, you could have seen the electronics is gets on and off. So if you want to like this, when you are simulating the one in the digital output, you can see the relay is on. So when I'm making it 0 again, the relay goes to off. I think you can see the 0 is 0 in now. Now you increase it to 1, the relay is on. So This is what this output was energized. So like this, you have a future to check the output whether it's the hardware is okay or not. Similarly, for analog output also, you can trigger the milliampere. You can see it is like a milliampere selection. If you want to simulate voltage, you can select this option. So milliampere and voltage is available, and then press ok. Now the display reads 4.000. That means this electronics is simulating and giving 4 milliampere to the field equipments. So you can have you can measure it across this milliampere and input common. So do you want to check multimeter, and I can display it is 4 milliampere or not by using um, so 4 milliampere is simulated here. You can check it on the terminal across this, and you can change the in values to 5 milliampere or 6 milliampere, whatever maybe, and you can check it here. So the entire futures of this electronics has been displayed to you in detail. Hope this video can help you to handle TLM8 individually by yourself. And still more, there is a doubt or clarification on this configuration, please ping me on my email ID or my mobile number so that I can help you. Thank you.